In this episode of Sailing Nandji, we leave the safety of familiar coastal waters and embark on our first offshore ocean passage from the Gold Coast, Australia to Noumea, New Caledonia. We have worked hard to reach this point and be able to finally untie the lines and sail into the great unknown. The 800 nautical mile journey we expect should take 7 to 8 days at sea. Living with a strong westerly breeze, we look forward to the challenges that lie ahead.
We just cleared customs and we're just exiting the seaway at the moment. It's pretty windy today. It's gusting at over 25 knots, so we're getting pushed around a bit, and yeah, we can't wait to get away from land and have the wind behind us, because yeah, it's pretty flowy. I'm talking down here to hide from the wind. We've been copping 30 knot winds and this weird like side swell that's been like pushing us around a fair bit. It's going to be a pretty wild night, I think, and then it's meant to be dropping out after that, so yeah, we're just kind of hanging in there and dealing with it. But yeah, it's pretty hard to sleep or do anything else at the moment. A lot of stuff getting thrown around the boat, and yeah, we've only got like a small bit of head sail out just to, yeah, and I think we're moving at around 6 to 7 knots, so it's pretty windy outside. The autopilot gave up, so Yosh has been hand steering recently, and yeah, I just hope that yeah, Yosh can get some sleep tonight at some point. And
getting into our first night, 28 knots.
Gusty at 35. The winds have increased dramatically. We are now looking at winds of 35 knots and gusts at around 50 knots. We have a really small triangle of sail out. Yosh has been hand steering for the past few hours, and it is just ripping through. She is furious. He's on! He's on! Oh my god, just what you need before the end of your shift, eh?
Day 2, pulled an all-nighter last night. Not gonna lie, it was pretty rowdy. Copping over 50 knots there at one stage.
It was consistent as well.
It was consistently over 40 knots like for hours on end. It was pretty hardcore in the dark, hand steering, all that. So had an all-nighter, and I've just had a couple of hours camp while the trooper, first mate over here, been seasick and still steering, just killing it. I've just woke up, cooked some toast, come upstairs and spewed myself.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. It looks like the ocean's dying down a little bit now though.
Yeah.
There's a good 4 or 5 metre seas rolling in this morning, but looks like that's died off a bit now.
I'm feeling extremely seasick, which is kind of concerning because I haven't been able to have any water, but hopefully it will get better. The conditions are meant to be easing off, so in the following days, so I'm sure I'll get over it by then, hopefully.
No autopilot.
No autopilot. We're swapping here, turn steering.
Yay.
Yeah. Pretty hard work. So we're just trying to like conserve energy and do as little as possible.
This is what Nandji's turned into. We've made a bed on the ground. Nice and low below the waterline, there's less movement, and yeah, basically the only spot where we can wedge in and not get thrown around. So we just take it in turns and sleep here on the floor while the other one's up there.
Hand steering.
Steering with their hands. Such a luxurious life sailing. Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, the headsail halyard snapped. I went to unfurl the headsail and the halyard was chafing on the top of the furler foils and broke, dropping our new Genoa into the ocean. We managed to muscle the sail back on deck, lashed it down and set off again. We were now 2 days in with no autopilot and no headsail. The adventure really begins when things go wrong. Nice cutback, Nandji. It's the morning of day 4. I just lost my good lure. I hooked a decent bonito, got it up to the boat, but turns out it's pretty hard to get fish on this boat while one person has to hand steer while we're moving at 6 knots and I'm trying to gaff it all at once while it's blowing 20 knots too. All a bit of fun for the morning. Last night I was pretty sure I heard a fish jump on the deck, and this morning I've gone down the back there to reel in the line, and sure enough there's a flying fish on deck. Silly little guy, flying the wrong way, mate.
About being comfortable and warm. Assume the position. See, like 5 hours or so?
Yeah. Looks like you had better nights, mate. About 350 miles off Newcow. And last night, we had a good wind going into last night. We had a staysail and first reef main kicking along at 6 to 7 knots there as the sun was going down, and the wind was just dying, so we left our sails at that, and it pretty well dropped down at about 1. Then a squall came through and just caned us with 25 knots. And we're like, ooh, we're hooking. And then after half an hour of that, it just disappeared and we were becalmed. And Yeah, the ocean's still a little bit rolly, a little bit of a swell rolling this morning, but Nandji's copped a bit of a beating. We've got a head sail halyard that needs replacing. The lazy jacks last night for some reason broke, and on the port side they fell down, so we're just under motor at the moment while Benita's having a snooey, and then once she gets up we might just lay a hull and do a bit of boat work. We've got some pretty calm weather looking for the next day or day and a half, and then we got some wind again, so might just utilise this time to make Nandji great again. Been trying to avoid going up the mast. It's been pretty rough weather. We haven't actually needed to use the head sail anyway the last few days because it's been blowing 20 knots plus, so the staysail's just been operating really well. But yeah, with this calmer weather we want to be able to get a nice big Genoa up flying in the air. So yeah, yesterday we tried hoisting it behind the staysail and then up on the spinnaker halyard, but the spinnaker halyard was just getting wrapped on the foil, so there's no way we could furl it. So we had to drop the sail again. So with this calmer weather we'll make use of it and go up the mast once Benita gets up and perform these couple of little fix-it tricky jobs.
Day 5, I still haven't been able to eat anything. I'm trying to get some protein shake down just to keep my strength up. Feeling that great, but pretty happy.
What a woman, absolute trooper. Just powering on. Hasn't been able to stomach much food. Just keeps going. Very proud of her.
For the past 3 days, Yosh and I had been having heated discussions about him going to the top of the mast to fix the halyard. With a rolly sea, I couldn't see a way of him doing it without being flung around and hurting himself, and insisted we wait for calmer weather. The day had finally come, and stubborn Yosh was determined to go up there and fix it, but I couldn't shake this bad feeling. Oh shit! I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Maybe it was a bad idea after all, and I think I should listen to Benita more often. When you get told to get down, you get down. After that little bit of excitement, we set our sails once more and continued on the journey.
After a sunset boogie, our spirits were high once again as we settled in for another long night of staring at the compass.
After a couple of failed attempts of fixing the halyard and getting our nice big Genoa flying, we've had pretty light winds, haven't we? What, it's been like 10 to 15 knots the last 48 hours I suppose, and it's forecast to be like that for the next 48 as well. So we're just cruising in, finishing off this last leg in some nice light breezes. Good sailing weather.
Yeah, we finally got it flying.
We got it up.
It's pretty high, sitting pretty high.
Yeah, we've had to give it a few adjustments, but
yeah,
stoked to have it in the air again.
Yeah.
How much further we got?
About 2.5 more days. So
2.5 days.
getting there.
Another couple of 100 nautical to go.
Yeah.
We've been averaging about, how much have we been averaging?
Right now we're doing 6, but like mainly 5, I reckon.
About 5 knots.
But that's with our stay sail, not with our head sail.
Yeah.
So,
it worked out really good. We thought we needed a big new Genoa and everything to be able to cross the ocean. Then we had 25 knots for the first couple of days, so we just sailed under a staysail anyway.
Yeah.
Didn't need it.
But now we kind of need it. Yeah.
Here we come, new cow.
No.
Ow!
Send us home.
Send us home.
have become becalmed and the starter battery will not start again. Yeah, Yosh is trying all different sorts of things. Tapping it. I don't know what else it's doing. The ocean is completely flat this morning. We're trying our hardest to sail as much as we can, but as you can hear, the sail is flapping. So we've got bugger all wind. I think we're doing 2 knots. So it might be time to try and start the motor again.
Let's tap the starter.
We are roughly just under 200 nautical miles off of New Caledonia. Last night we were becalmed by the wind. The wind totally dropped out, and we went to start the motor and it wouldn't start. So Yosh did a lot of different things. He cleaned the terminals and ended up getting it started by banging it with a spoon. So we thought, oh, it's just the starter motor, we'll be able to start it again by doing that. We had a look around this morning, and the fishing wire, Yosh's fishing wire, was wrapped around the prop. So we thought, well, Yosh's plan was we'll drop all the sails and then he'll get in and dive on it and cut the wire, the fishing wire, from around the prop. So we dropped all the sails. It ended up, by the time that he was ready to jump in, there was a fish on the end of it, believe it or not. So we pulled it up, and yeah, there was a fish on the end of the fishing wire, which is really lucky. Now the starter motor won't start, so he's taking off the one that's on there and putting a different one on, and hopefully that'll work. So fingers crossed. 2 more days left of sailing, hopefully, and yeah, we're just really blessed to have such good weather. It's so calm. We don't have any bad weather coming, so yeah, we'll just take our time, I guess.
Shiny new starter, $400. What a waste.
Oh, you hear that? Woo! The original old starter motor, I think, has got it started, not the 2 new ones, so there you go.
Starter motor issues is ridiculous. We have 3 starters on board, and the one that is the original is the only one that works. This one's brand new, and the solenoid's being dicky, it's not operating. But then on the one that we do have, the old one that's working, that I've now put back in and started, this stud here, that stud there is threaded, so the nut's only on there loose, so then the connections to the back of the starter there aren't on tight. So, but it's starting the engine at the moment. We will probably only have to start it once more once we get inside the lagoon, so I'll play around with that stud then, but I'm not gonna, if it's working, don't fix it. So we've just got to get there, and then I can dick around with it once we're in port. Busted. Looking back on the journey thus far, there's 3 things to take out of this, or 3 items. That is now at the top of the want list. I think the want list turns into a need list. So the 3 items that we need is a new starter motor, a new autopilot, and a good downwind sail, like an asymmetrical sail for light winds. These last couple of days, if we had an asymmetrical, we would be flying. But we don't, so we're not flying.
He's on! Good morning! We are about 75 nautical miles away from New Caledonia. It's just over there. Somewhere. We'll get there tomorrow morning. I don't know, maybe we could find somewhere to anchor overnight inside the lagoon. We'll just see how we go. But yeah, looking forward to being back on land again tomorrow.
We decided to lay a hull and just bob around while it's daylight, because if we keep going we'd get to the pass at like 9 PM or 10 PM. It's pitch black and we don't want to try to navigate the pass at night, so we'll just bob around, waste some time, and then we'll travel the last 40 nautical miles tonight and get there in the morning.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we're going for a swim in 4,000 metres.
This morning we had 90 nautical miles left to get to New Caledonia. At the pace we were going, it would mean that we'd arrive there at about 9 o'clock at night this evening. Now, New Caledonia is an island that is completely surrounded by a lagoon, so there's nowhere that you can anchor or stop. So we thought we've got to slow down and try to get there tomorrow morning. So we pulled the sails down. We had a relaxing afternoon just floating along in the middle of the ocean. We watched a couple of series and got some cleaning done, and yeah, so it's the evening now. We've just pulled up the sails and we're on the move again, and we've only got like a small bit of head sail out. We're traveling at 3 knots, and it'll mean that we'll get to the outside of the lagoon at about 4:30 in the morning, and the sun should be coming up soon after that, so we'll be able to navigate through the entrance of the lagoon and then around the reefs inside. So it's actually been really nice just having some time to do something else besides stare at the compass, hey, and yeah, it's just been nice just being able to like have our own time.
It's our 9th morning at sea, and we got land ahoy!
There's waves breaking on the outer reef.
Ok, j'y vais, mais ça marche pas sur 68, hein.
Port Mazel Marina. This is Nandji, channel 67, over. Entering the lagoon, we felt an overwhelming feeling of accomplishment mixed with a little bit of sadness as the sail was over. We have worked so hard to get this far and are proud of what we have achieved. We could not wait to drop anchor and have a look around. However, Nandji had another curveball to throw. The motor is making some really funny noises.